Hello friends and welcome to today's video. I'm Jeanette with Vivo Vintage Designs. In today's video I'm going to show you how I painted these flowers using my alcohol ink dry palette, a brush, a little pot with some alcohol, and a couple of watercolor pencils. So here I'm demonstrating the shape of the flowers. And if you're just doing this for the first time, it might be a good idea to sketch it out first. So I used a watercolor pencil to draw a kind of flat oval so that I can keep the shape of the flower in mind as I fill in these spiky little petals. So I'm using a liner brush and it's a size 2. So you can see here I've picked up the color Stonewash, and I'm making sure that I blot my brush on my paper towel as I add these little spikes in here, and I'm just using the tip of the brush. So of course if you don't have a liner brush, any small brush that you have will do. But notice that as I paint in these spikes, I'm making sure to keep them going in the shape of the oval. So I'm not just making them straight up and down, I'm going with the shape of the flower. And once I get down my base color, then I'm going to switch to eggplant, and I'm also using the color amethyst. So I'm switching in between colors and I'm trying to keep the darker ones towards the base of the flower because they would be in shadow and that's where they would be the darkest. So that's why I use Stonewash for my first layer so that I can keep them lighter towards the top of the flower. And here you see me doing the same exact thing. Now you can see that on the completed painting on the left, the first flower I did was the one on the left. And I didn't have in mind the shape of the flower, I was just playing around. And you can see that it's shaped differently than the one in the middle and the one on the right. And I think that it's important to keep in mind the shape of the flower that you want to create. That's why using the pencil to sketch in your shape is probably a good idea. Now I use a watercolor pencil because regular pencils don't show up on photo paper. So these are inexpensive watercolor pencils that I use solely for this purpose. I don't use them for watercolor at all. I'll make sure to list all the products used in the description box along with links. So take a look there if you're interested in knowing more about the products I'm using. Now here for this one I decided to create just a little bud. So I sketched out almost the shape of a Hershey's Kiss for the top, and then underneath for that little bulby part where at the bottom of the flower, I did the same thing only upside down. I know it's a little hard to see my watercolor pencil marks, but they're there. So you can see here for this little bud, I'm just making sure to fill in the area with the little spikes, and I'm making some come out of the side so it looks like it's about to open. And now for the base of my flower and for the stems, I'm using the color Meadow, and I'm also adding a little bit of the color Oregano. So you can see I put down the Meadow first, and now I'm going over it with a little bit of the Oregano just to create some depth and some texture to that base. And you can see it's almost like an upside down triangle. I'm just curving the tip a little bit to make it round. And now doing the same for my little bud. So notice that I'm keeping one side lighter and one side darker on this base, just to make sure that I have some shadow and that some depth to the flower. And now using the tip of the liner brush, I'm using the color Meadow to create my stems. And now for these very delicate little leaves, you can see all I'm doing is drawing a line, or rather painting a line with the brush. And then from that center stem, I'm creating stems, one on each side, evenly spaced. And then on each one of those smaller stems, I'm creating these itty bitty little lines, just using the tip of the brush. And I make sure that I alternate my colors and the depth of color just to keep it interesting, and again to create a little depth. I'm treating this almost like I would watercolor. That's why I love to use a dry palette, because you can do so much more when you use a dry palette with alcohol ink than you can using the ink straight out of the bottle. So now, of course, you can use whatever colors you like, and you can create whatever kind of leaves you like. I actually I don't even know that this is a flower. It's just an idea that I got as I was playing. Well, we're getting close to the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you give this a try. Let me know if you have any questions. Check the description box for links to the products used. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.